this is what the world's greatest investors are doing. Michael Burry up first, making massive moves in Q1 2023. Skyant Asset Management, headed by Michael Burry, who correctly bet against mortgages before the 2008 financial crisis. Obviously, this guy's a genius. He made a fortune on some of the meme stocks. An incredible record. So this is what he's doing right now. The firm headed by Michael Burry, who correctly bet against mortgages before the 2008 financial crisis, took new stakes in First Republic Bank, oddly enough. Obviously, that one probably went south. Capital One Financial, Huntington Bank Shares, New York Community Bank Corp, PacWest, Wells Fargo, and Western Alliance. In another big move, the company's new position in Real sent the online retailer stock up 20% in Monday afternoon trading. Among other investments, Sky took new stakes in energy companies, Coterra Energy, Devon Energy, and precious metals mining company Sibanye-Stillwater, according to the filing. So he is finding deep value here. He's buying up these regional bank stocks dirt cheap after they've collapsed. He's buying a diversified basket of them. Then he's buying energy companies, which obviously are super low, and he's buying mining companies, believe it or not, precious metal mining companies. Then we have Warren Buffett, easily one of the greatest investors of all time. Warren Buffett sells stakes in two banks, buys into Capital One. Michael Burry also bought Capital One. The billionaire's investment conglomerate, Berkshire Hathaway, sold $1.4 billion of its remaining holdings in Custody Bank, New York Mellon, and Minneapolis Regional Lender U.S. Bank Corp. He sold out of these. He bought Capital One. Very interesting. Both of these guys are value hunters. They always want to find assets on sale, which is the only real way to make money in these markets. Buy on dips, right? Buy when these assets are sale, buy good stuff cheap. Well, they both, believe it or not, think that Capital One is a deal right now. Then we have Paul Tudor Jones coming out discussing what his take is on Bitcoin. Again, look up Paul Tudor Jones's record. Absolutely massive, easily one of the greatest investors of all time. World's biggest investor, Paul Tudor Jones, warns against buying Bitcoin now. Bitcoin has a real problem, claims Paul Tudor Jones. In a televised interview, the 68-year-old investor shared his thoughts on Bitcoin as well as the current economic scenario of the United States. Jones expressed his downbeat perspective that both Bitcoin and gold have become less bullish as the inflation hedge narrative is progressively becoming irrelevant due to the numbers falling down in line. Moreover, the United States' supposed anti-crypto stance has also stood out as a sore thumb for the Wall Street veteran. After the dramatic fall of FTX in November 2022, U.S. regulatory bodies have proactively increased their skepticism and scrutiny over the crypto industry. This was epitomized by the SEC's threat of legal action against Coinbase. He says Bitcoin is a real problem because in the United States, you have the entire regulatory apparatus against it, right? So that's the current narrative. Short-term bearishness, that's what he's talking about. Obviously, this would be the first digital technological innovation that would be stifled by the US. Lots of pushback by the Republican Party on this. The SEC getting a lot of heat for its mishandling of this situation. So there is some short-term uncertainty, but this is Paul Tudor Jones, one of the greatest investors of all times, take on Bitcoin for the long term. Even though Jones seemed to have a rather pessimistic view of Bitcoin, he emphasized his unyielding commitment to the flagship cryptocurrency, confirming he keeps a small diversification in his investment portfolio, which he will continue to hold onto because of its distinctive set of features. According to Jones, the fact that Bitcoin is a finite supply and no more Bitcoins can later be created is the defining feature which convinced him to hold onto it for such a long time. It's the only things that humans can't adjust the supply in. So I'm sticking with it. So he's short-term bearish, long-term bullish. He clearly thinks even though the current regulatory apparatus is against it now, it won't be that way forever, especially because it's a global asset. And so this is what some of the greatest investing minds of our generation are doing. This discussion is for informational purposes only. Please consult a certified financial planner when making any decisions about investing. And do your own research before making any decision. Investments are risky, and you can lose lots of money in them.